Hi, computer graphic arts students at Rowan College. This is Professor Mary, and I'm going to go over how to use the Adobe Color website for multiple classes. So when you come to Adobe Color, we have the website, which is color.adobe.com. And when you come in, the first of the three areas or the four areas you go to is Create, Explore, Trends, and My Themes. Now, Create is where you can go in and create different types of themes in terms of colors. Generally, a color theme is 5 colors with a primary or base color that we're going to use. Now, over here on the left-hand side, you're going to see that there's the different types of color harmony rules. So, for example, we've got analogous, we've got monochromatic, we've got triad, we've got complementary, split complementary, double, split complementary, square, compounds, shades, and then custom. So if I want to make a complementary color scheme, I could click on complementary and it will automatically take and make the colors on opposite sides of the color wheel because that's the definition of a complementary color. Now if you don't like the colors, you can grab the base color and you can start to move it. And let's say I want my base color to be a nice rich blue, like that. Now the exact opposite of that blue is this color here, which is this kind of orangey color. Now you can grab that color and make it lighter in terms of adding white to it, and you can move it up and down in terms of saturation. Now remember, the middle is white and the outer edge is 100% saturated of this color. Now, because this is a complementary color scheme, once you move one of these, the other one moves as well. So if I grab this one and I move it over here into the greens to get a nice dark green color, these are stuck together. Why? Because we're doing complementary. Now you can go and make a color scheme in other modes. So I could go to split complementary, and this is going to give you a primary color. And then it's going to give you kind of almost like the peace sign here. I'll move my base color back to the blue, and now it's going to split off this way. So instead of being a perfectly straight line, it's splitting off. If I choose double split complementary, it's going to create complementary colors. So this color and this color are complementary, and this color and this color are complementary. But this fifth color is not complementary. However, if we move it, it will move all the other colors as well. So you can pick whatever colors you want, let's say a dark, dark blue, and then everything else will be split. Let's say you wanted to do a totally customized color scheme. You could do that by clicking Custom. Now these are not stuck to one another. We can move them wherever we want. So maybe I want this blue right here to be this nice dark blue, but I want this green to be more of a really light green, and I want this one to be more orangey, and I want this one to be more red, and I really don't like this purple, so I'm going to go over and do more of a teal. So now I've gone and I've customized the color panel to the specific colors that I want. Now, the other thing that we can do in using the Adobe Color scheme is once you create a color scheme, I could hit the Save button. Now, the reason I have Save is because I have signed into my account. Now, if you don't have an Adobe account, you can get a free Adobe account. It doesn't cost anything, and it will let you save your color schemes up to the cloud. That way you can go back and get them later on. So I'm going to hit Save, and it will now save that into my library. So it's been saved now into my library. I should probably give it a better name, like I usually would give it a client name and a job name. So if it was the ABC company, I would put ABC, and if it was a brochure, I would say brochure. So then I would save that. Now, the next thing that you can do with the Adobe Color Library is you can go and click on the Explore button. And the Explore button is going to allow you to look at color schemes that are being created by other people. So it's kind of like going in and seeing all the color schemes from the entire world of designers. Now, you can go in and search. So maybe I'll search for nature green because the client wants me to do something with nature green. And when I do that, it comes up with all these green colors. So all these green colors. Now you might say to yourself, but Mary, why are we getting these photographs in here as well? I'm going to show you that in just a second in terms of how you can pull color out of photographs. Now let's say you really like this scheme right here. So I'm going to click on it. So this was created by somebody else. And I can go and I can either make my own theme from it. I could modify it. I could do anything I want to it. So I'm going to create using this theme. All right, so here's the colors. So maybe I really like this color, this dark, dark, dark green. But I want to make it a little bit, different. I want to pull it in a little bit. And maybe I want this color to be a tad bit darker. This green to be a little bit darker. I want this one to be very orangey. And I want this one to be almost light beige. So I had taken someone else's color scheme, and now I could rename it Nature Colors, and I could save it into my themes. Now the other thing that I do with the Explore area is a lot of times clients will say, well, I want a medium blue. So I'll type in medium blue here. And then when they come up, I'll say to the client, well, do you see any colors that mean medium blue? Like, do you see any colors here that you like that are medium blue? Because if I say medium blue, it's very different from what you might think is medium blue. For example, you might think this color right here is medium blue. I would actually call that darker blue. So this is a great place to say, here's the colors. Do you see any colors that pop out to you? Especially with colors like, light blue. Well, what does that mean? Light blue means different things to different people. Now, the other thing that you can do with this is you can go and look at the trends. So you can see what people are doing in terms of the trends, and you're seeing in different categories what the color themes are. So under fashion, here are the color themes people are using. Under graphic design, here are things that our people are using. Under illustration, under interactive, under architecture, under game design. So you can get a lot of good ideas about color. So this is a great place that you can go and kind of hang out and look for ideas from things. Now the other way that we could do, the other thing we could do in Adobe Color is we could go to My Themes, and these are all the themes that I've saved. So in my library, here's the nature colors, and here's the client jobs. So this is the ones that I've personally saved from when I've been building different color themes along the way. Now, the last thing I want to show you is I want to show you how to do a photo, how you can extract a theme from a photo. So I'm going to go back to Create, and over here, there's this button that says Extract Theme. And it says, okay, well, how do you want to do this? So I happen to have a file that I'm going to drag and drop onto my, into here. All right, so let's see, I'm going to grab this one. All right, so when I dragged the photo over, it started picking colors for me. And this is one of my pictures from a junkyard that I love to take pictures of. And what you can do is, see how it put the dots all over the screen? So you can start to move the dots around and say, well, I want a darker green here, and I want, a darker red here. So I'm going to go over here and pick one of the darker reds. All right. And then, I like this blue, but I don't like that blue. I want to make it a little bit lighter. So I'm going to move it around until I get the color that I want. And you can go anywhere you want. So that's the color I want. Now, because I save this, I'm saving this theme, I can hit right here. So I'm going to call it Rusty Junk. All right, and we're going to hit save, and that gets saved to my my color themes. You could also do the same thing with extract gradients. So I could go in and extract a gradient using multiple colors. And then I could also save this gradient if I wanted to. Now the last thing I want to show you is if we go back to the color wheel, how do I find out what colors these actually are? So you'll see right here, this is what's called the hexadecimal color. And that would be a color you could use in another software program. You could also go over here and go to CMYK, cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. So the cyan, yellow, magenta, and black number, so this is the cyan, 0% cyan, 53 parts magenta, 53 parts yellow, and 0 parts black. And you'll see each one of them. And because these are fairly light colors, there's no black in any of them. The other models we could use is LAB, which stands for luminosities channel A and B. We could use hue, saturation, and value. We could also use RGB in making this, so we could do the RGB values. And again, anytime you make changes to them, you can save it to your themes and it will be available for you later on. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and switch over into one of the Adobe products like Adobe Illustrator. And we're going to see how these themes, which are saved up into the cloud, are used. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and open up a new document. And I'm just going to make a square here. All right. Now if I go over into my color themes, in my software, I can go to something called libraries. I'm just going to drag them over here. Now, remember the libraries I saved back up into the cloud to my account? For example, here's one of them, Rusty Junk. So I could change the colors based on that. So when you save the colors in the Adobe Color website, they get saved up to the cloud and then they're available to you in the software. So I hope this introduction to the Adobe Color website was helpful, and you'll be using this website a lot when you're as a designer.